Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's Jermaine with the simple truth. And I just want to tell you, having the opportunity to look at the various news sources and to be able to read different articles that are out there, it really amazes me how people have the thought process that what we knew or what we once knew as the prosperous America, that there is even the thought that it could ever come back. Well, it could come back, but it's not going to come back for the whole. It will come back for a very distinct people, a very small percentage of the people. And let me give you a hint. Are you one of those people? I know I'm not one of that small percentage, but it's only for a small group. I want you to check out an article that I happened to come across. It was moneynews.com, and it speaks volumes how the different political sides of the fence, whether they're Democrat or they're Republican, how they really and truly believe that they can put a quick fix by getting your vote and getting their man into office, that they're going to make these things change. Didn't that happen 4 years ago, where the resounding drumbeat was change, change, change? And now all we see are things like the National Defense Authorization Act. All we see is things like the continuation of genetically modified plants and foods. We see gas prices going through the roof. We see job rates going down, down, down. And we see the America that we live in almost beginning to look very closely in resemblance to a third world country. Well, you can say I'm being pessimistic because I'm not being optimistic, but history has shown that many times those very, very lofted high governments or high regimes or those empires always came crumbling down. Here's the article. Now, this article from moneynews.com is and it says from this gentleman named Jack Welch. It says, U.S. can return to glory days via innovation and Romney victory. The U.S. economy can return to its glory days of growth and prosperity by continuing to lead the world in innovation, said former General Electric CEO Jack Welch. A Mitt Romney victory in November's presidential election would help even more. While Asian economies have grown to become the world's manufacturing hub due to their cheaper labor and other costs, the United States still leads the world with innovative products and services. Who's innovating? Who's coming up with all the new stuff? We are, Welch told CNBC. You don't see innovation coming this way very often. Innovations coming from here, we need more of it. We need better education. We need all the things we know we need. We need a more supportive government. We need a lot of these things. Can the country push these things through? Yeah, if we get the right administration and if we do the right thing, Welch said. Regulations are going to escalate if President Barack Obama is reelected, Welch said, adding, you're going to drown in regulations. Romney, meanwhile, needs to get past his current problem of dealing with a taped address to supporters grabbing headlines in which he said 47% of the country would go with Obama because they are dependent on the government. He needs to focus on the future and Obama's track record, Welch said. The challenge for the Republicans is they've got to get this thing out of whether or not Romney said 47% or Obama said that Egypt was an ally or not. We've got to get a big, big picture, Welch said. He's got to, in my opinion, he's got to take America and paint 2016 with him there and with Obama there, he added. He's got to get right down the list. He's got to go, here's what my tax plan is, and my tax plan's going to do this, and here's what I'm going to do about regulation, and here's what I'm going to do about energy. Some groups do point out that too many Americans are drawing federally funded services while not putting money back into the system, arguing that half of all Americans receive some form of direct federal benefit. More than a quarter of Americans are on Medicaid, 16% receive Social Security, 15% are on Medicare, and nearly 16% receive food stamps, according to the Associated Press. When the number of people riding in the wagon outnumber the people pulling the wagon, how do you ever reform? Said Dan Mitchell, an economist for the Cato Institute, the AP added. Ladies and gentlemen, the simple truth of the matter is that if people believe that a certain candidate is going to bring back the quote unquote prosperity of America, well, they are sadly mistaken. We are in a very, very serious situation. And it really doesn't matter what political person is going to be in office, because their agenda is not the agenda of the people. Again, I've constantly said their agenda is for the global elite. This gentleman, Jack Welch, is just that global elite. He's basically saying in so many words that if this president, Romney, is elected, that he needs to lighten the regulations so that it makes it easier for people like himself and many other corporate heads to do the things that are going to be more profitable to them. Ladies and gentlemen, you really have to do some thinking, and you really have to get down to the bottom line of really what's being said. What's really being said is that I can do better than he can do. He can do, he thinks, better than the other can do. But really, what they're trying to tell you is that the jig is up as far as America and the economy. And what is going to happen is that there are going to be two distinct classes in this world that we live in. You notice I didn't say the United States, but I said the world that we live in. There's going to either be rich or they're going to be poor. And we can just about guarantee that the poor will be doing the bidding of the things that the rich want done. This has been the simple truth. And as I always tell you, ladies and gentlemen, the simple things are oftentimes the most profound. But yet, they're the most difficult to put into practice and to actually do. I want to thank you for joining me, and I'll see you and you again real soon.